guys, it's M4J here, and welcome back to the M4J network here on OpenTTD. Following on then from last week's episode, so we rebuilt Brenfingley Astrea here. It is now a 9-platform station on the main lines, which is the Guard City Great Eastern lines, and then it's a 6-platform station on the high-speed lines and a 4-platform station on the Transrapid, although I think that might be expanded to 6. We will see. On top of that, it is also now the home of the first ever M4J network car parking experiment, and you will see quite clearly how bad I am at all of this. Basically, I wanted to get this road in on the north side of the site, and I wanted there to be a reason for this road to exist. And I thought, why not have like all the fancy station buildings and stuff on the southern side of the site with the bus stops and everything, and then on the north side of the site have this huge car park, like multi-story car park that also has like a ground level thing and everything like that. And to an extent, it works. To another extent, it doesn't. It very much depends on your interpretation, I suppose. But I dither around a lot. There's a lot of graphical glitches with the set here. I think when it's done, it looks fine, but you can see the one in the top there just keeps disappearing and reappearing. And yeah, I don't know what that's all about. But overall, I think these assets are very, very nice. It might sound like I'm criticizing them, but I'm really not. I think these assets are very, very good. And when they're done, these stations look incredible. So I'm very, very happy with these. The one thing I am not particularly happy with, and this gets like a real nitpick, I'm afraid, but I don't like the way that objects work in the game. The objects themselves look fine. I think they look really, really cool. But the fact that you always have to have an empty tile to put an object on can be quite limiting. And you see I struggle with this here. I had the car park, the ground level bit set, and then I couldn't put the above bit in. As it turns out, I wasn't really utilizing the assets as intended. So once I started doing that, then it became a little bit easier to actually do. But yeah, this car park here, you see me take many run-ups to try and get it to work, and I can't even remember what the final design looks like, although saying that, I have the game open on my other screen, so I will just go and look. This isn't even the main part of the video, by the way. This is just phase 1. Phase 2 is the other end of the new line that we built last time out, which is over at Caelestra, Wunston Caelestra. Is it Wunston or Wunston? It might be Wunston Caelestra, actually. Anyway, that station. I'm just following the track down to find where... That's not the right branch. Where am I? I'm lost. Oh, here we are. I literally just scrolled across and found it by mistake. So yeah, the final design of the car park here is basically what you're seeing now on screen. It's a bit boring, I know, but I do go back and build a new multi-story, or I say multi-story, it's a raised car park, and I build that on the level above the bus stops on the southern end of the site. So we have a car park either end of the site that kind of bookends the station quite nicely. And now I've got my head around these assets. It might still take me a little bit of time to find the right asset for the right bit of the build, but when I do find the right one, boy does it look good. And I'm very, very, very happy with the results here. Although, have I still got... Oh no, I do go and alternate it. So let's say not every single one of the endpoints there. There we go. Needs a lamppost. Perfect. So yeah, as I said, I'm really happy with this design here. And Brenfingley is pretty much done now. I don't think there's much left to do, eye candy wise. I think I'm pretty much happy with it. The same could probably be said for Wunston as well, to be fair. I'm very happy with the result there. It's one of those ones where... trying to find the right wording for it. You'll see what I mean by it in a second. It started off as just wanting to build a station car park, and it kind of snowballed a little bit into what you see at the end of the episode. And trust me, you will see at the end of the episode what it has snowballed into. It looks more than just a little bit different, let's put it that way. So this is me attempting to build this multi-story car park here. And again, it doesn't fit very well. The final result is a lot nicer. In fact, I'm quite a fan of it. You can imagine this is kind of like priority parking, or maybe like season pass or something like that. which I think works quite well for the overall vibe that this station is, which is obviously, like, imagine Ebbsfleet International, for example, on High Speed 1. I believe they do have like season pass parking or permit pass parking. Excuse me, taking a quick drink. And that's reflected here as well. So this is a major interchange. You know, it's Transrapid, it's conventional rail, it's high speed. So it makes sense that a lot of people will be driving here to travel onwards. So because of that, it makes sense that you would have a lot of parking. But space is a premium. Therefore, it's not always going to be easy to find parking at a station like this, and that's kind of reflected in the design now. I'm kind of talking absolute gibberish here as well, I realise, but kind of watching what's happening on the screen at the same time. This actually took me longer than I thought it did. The overall length of the video here was 1 hour 28, and I think I spent like the first third of that, about 30 odd minutes, actually doing this part. You could argue that I wasted some time there, or I could argue that most of what I do is a waste of time. But yeah, it's one of these strange things. Like, now I'm looking at the final result, I'm kind of looking back at all the other stuff and thinking, why didn't I just do that in the first place? And even now I'm looking back at this and thinking, I've already seen like 4 or 5 different things that I would do right now to improve this design. Maybe even more. But yeah, this is the design I end up with. You can kind of see how it works. You've got the entrance, and then the exit, and then you've got ramps that take you up to the second floor, which is where the actual parking takes place. Yeah, the big change I would make is extending it over by another tile and having the bus station be underneath the car park. That would make sense. What I'm trying to do on this little bit then, I saw some photos recently on, I think on the Discord, the BR Trains Discord, and they look amazing. There's some bridge sets, and there's also some stations that people have been building on there. And I've been trying to download as much eye candy as possible to make these stations look nicer, because there's a lot of stations across the network that I feel would benefit from looking nicer. And this is kind of my project right now, to try and make these things look nicer. And I can't seem to get the assets to work how I want them to still. So if you're an expert out there, if you're an eye candy expert, feel free to let me know the kind of things I could be doing to improve the design. Excuse me. The designs of these stations. Another thing, an update on the database. Progress is a little bit slow right now. I mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again. Right now my schedule is beyond hectic, or at least it was until this week. I've made some changes this week which are benefiting me greatly. But for this channel, I make 5 videos a week, I think, and my brother edits 2 more on top of that for me. One of which is the Football Manager highlights, which if you're a fan of those, thank you for watching, and the soon-to-air F1 series, which is coming very, very soon, believe me. One of the reasons it's actually been held up is because I've been making F1 content for racing games, or just content in general for racing games, which is the reason why my schedule is so hectic. So I make 5 videos a week for my channel. That could be rising soon to 6. Add to that the 2 that my brother does, and that's 8 videos a week. For racing games, I produce 5 videos a week as well. We make 6 videos a week. I only work on 5 of them. But I also take part in a stream every Friday afternoon. Check that out if you haven't done so already. It's very, 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 very fun to record, and I'm being led to believe it's very, very fun to watch as well. But that means I have very little time to make content right now. But I'm trying to do 2 videos a day for racing games, which gives me a lot of free time later in the week. So like Monday, Tuesday, I'll do all of the videos for the week, and then, you know, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever. I'm recording this on the Wednesday, the day before it goes up. Where I'm going with this is, it should mean I have some more time to work on videos again, but the database has ground to a halt because of that. George has also got some things going on as well, which is totally fine. But it means progress has been slow, updates have been slow, things like that. But it's not the worst thing in the world at the end of the day. It just means it's slow. However, we are now looking for people to come on board and help us. We've already had one person volunteer, and we're very grateful for that. We will be working on that in the near future. But anyone really who wants to get involved with this project, whether it's collating data, whether it's coding the database or building the database, whether it's coding the program that we're making to work with the database, any of that stuff, feel free to get involved. The link to the Discord should be in the description down below. I realize it's a bit hidden. YouTube don't make it obvious that the description is bigger than it appears to be. So there should be a show more button below the name of the game, or around that area. If you click on that, then it'll open up the full description, and you should be able to find a link to the Discord. If you can't find it for whatever reason, do let me know, and I'll send you the link, and you can join the Discord. There's a lot of conversation going on over there at the moment about various different things. But yeah, we're going to be starting. I might even set up a new channel on the Discord for maybe make it a private channel just for people who are helping out with the project, just so we can like spam it with ideas and technical chat without it taking up the M4J network chat, because not everyone wants to read about it, I'm sure. Although I find it very, very interesting myself, but that's just me. Right, so yeah, database. If you want to help out, let me know down below, or just join the Discord and let me know there, or message me on Discord as well. That's a good way to get in touch, and we'll add you to the project. It might be something that gets released on GitHub, or at least has a GitHub or some kind of repository, just so we can all work on it at the same time. We'll see about that. I know my brother works on Python, or he does some stuff with Python. I did use Python when I was at uni, but literally for like the weakest of projects. It was an interactive Minecraft map using the Overviewer mod in Minecraft, and it didn't work very well, and I hated it. It's not one of my proudest things to look back on. The concept was cool, but the execution was terrible. So that's my only experience of using Python, but I know my brother uses it, and I know a couple of other people have mentioned that they use it too. So maybe we can set something up to do with that, like a repository of some kind, so that other people can join in and get it working as well. Anyway, I'm kind of talking rubbish right now because I'm watching what's going on the screen here. So this is Wunston Caelestra we're working at now. You can see it's received a 5th platform as part of this new project. So there'll be more direct services between Denston and is it Wunston? I've got it open. Yeah, it is Wunston. Between Denston and Wunston, and also Nut Hill and Wunston. So it felt right to have an extra platform here to accommodate that. Also between Brenfingley and Wunston, there might be an all-stopper as well. We'll see about that. But yeah, it just felt like it needed an extra platform. So without even the database timetable system telling me to, I've just added one in. There's a bus station that's been built here as well. In fact, if I scooch back over to it on my laptop here, yeah, there's a new bus station with some eye candy. This new car park that I'm building here, and I said it snowballed slightly. A new airport as well. Wunston Airport no longer exists. Instead, flights will be flying in and out of Wunston Caelestra Airport, which is what this is. Not every high-speed station is going to be attached to an airport, by the way. I feel like I should say that, because I think this is the 4th or 5th one now that has an airport attached. And that's not what the original plan was meant to be, but that is what's ended up happening here. This is kind of one of the smaller airports, I would say, on the map. I know that Great Winfield's going to get rebuilt soon. George has exercised his option to claim another franchise, and he's created an airline. More on that. Where did I put my... lost my drink for a second there. More on that in the future. But Great Winfield Airport will be rebuilt to accommodate that, because his airline's going to operate out of Great Winfield. The new west and east terminals and things like that. Not quite sure how I'm going to fit those in, to be honest, but we'll find a way, I'm sure. It might involve rejigging the site slightly, and maybe even turning the airports round, because I have the new GRF that allows me to do that. So we'll see where we go with that. But yeah, that wasn't part of the plan. It wasn't part of the plan to have an airport here. It was meant to just be railway stations. But, as I said, one thing led to another, and we ended up with an airport. And despite the fact that it's quite a small airport, like I said, it is still way too big for the size car park that I built here. So I think some of the land on the east side of the heavy rail will be turned over to an extended car park just to try and make it look a little bit more realistic. Excuse me, I keep drinking a lot. It's very hot today, and this is like the 5th video I've recorded today, so my voice is raw. Let's get into rail news then. It's been a long time since I did rail news, and to be honest, there isn't that much that I could still call news, so I'd probably call it rail olds, because most of this stuff is you know, what are we, 2 weeks into September now? That's scary to say, by the way. 2021, where did that go? But yeah, rail news. So one of the actually, I've forgotten where the story is now. That's good, isn't it? One of the big bits of news that on the headlines here is the Island Line just can't catch a break right now. There's actually something exciting I read about the Island Line that I'll talk about soon. For those of you that don't know what I mean, the Island Line is on the Isle of Wight. It runs from Ryde Pierhead to Shanklin via Ryde Esplanade, Ryde St John's, Smallbrook Junction, Brading, Sandown, Lake, and then Shanklin. I think no, Benbridge doesn't have a station, does it? No, used to, doesn't anymore. And there's been some flooding there at the moment, so they're supposed to be introducing the new trains. That's been delayed, the 484s. Now there's been flooding at Ryde St John's Road, which is also delayed. I don't even know if it's construction at this point, but there's something going on that's been held up by this. I don't really know what, technically, but something has been happening. But yeah, because of all that, the project is looking a little bit iffy right now. It's not going to get cancelled or anything like that, but it's not exactly a good omen, is it, when all this stuff keeps getting cancelled, or at least delayed. The other exciting thing I read about the Island Line, though, is there's talk about extending the network from Sandown to Newport via a new junction south of Sandown Station. Now, I think it is going to use what's called the Central Island Line, which is not the route that ran through the Isle of Wight Steam Railway, or what is now the Isle of Wight Steam Railway. I believe it's a different route that ran to Newport. What it didn't say in the article I was reading was whether or not the junction would be north-facing or south-facing. I would imagine it would be north-facing, so then people can take the train from Ryde to Newport. And actually, I think that's something that is necessary. It's a needed thing, because right now the only real way to get around the island is by road, whether that's by car or by bus, but it is by road. The Isle of Wight Steam Railway isn't what I would call a commuter heritage line. Woodson to Smallbrook isn't exactly a high in demand route around the island, and the Island Line isn't really that it's not that useful if you're running east to west. If you're going from Ryde to Sandown or something like that, then it's great. But the fact that the main town on the Isle of Wight is Newport and it's not rail served, seems a little bit of a shame to me. So it's something I was going to mention before. We were talking on Discord about lines we'd like to see reopened, and everyone kind of focuses on mainland England and Scotland and Wales, but no one really talks about things like the Isle of Wight. So that's something that I would have liked to have seen, and it looks like it might happen. There's no confirmation yet, but if it does happen, I think that would be really, really cool. Some more news is Eurostar. I think I have mentioned this before, but from the 6th of September, 8 daily return services now operate on Eurostar. 5 to Paris and 3 to Brussels, with 1 extended to Rotterdam and Amsterdam. So that's starting to see normality returning. We're nowhere near normality returning in terms of Eurostar, at least, because they operate way more trains per day than that. But we are starting to see light at the end of the Channel Tunnel, as it were. And considering Eurostar nearly went under last year during the lockdown and restrictions and things, it's good to see that they are actually starting to recover, even if it might take a long, long time for the recovery to fully take hold. I'm trying to find that article that I was reading. Here we go. Ambitious plan to extend the Island Line. So yeah, from Sandown to Newport, it's part of the DfT's Restoring Your Railway programme. Costs have been estimated at £67 million. It's got the backing of local council, and it will reinstate the former Isle of Wight Central Line, which closed on February 6th, 1956. Much of the trackbed remains intact. Footpaths and cycleways would be retained on a shared layout, and a new junction south of Sandown Station would be constructed. It sounds very, very promising, very encouraging, and I hope something does come of it. I think that'll be really, really cool. Some other news then, not other than news, that doesn't make sense. West Drayton becomes the latest station in London to become step free, which is, I mean, I think that really should be one of the top priorities, is making stations step free, but I know it's not as easy as just saying that. You've actually got to go and do it still. And yeah, I mean, there's not, to be honest, it's again one of these things where that there is kind of some stuff to talk about, but at the same time, there isn't, because a lot of it has already happened. I'm just seeing a photo of. I thought I recognised the station. That doesn't look right, but yes, it's a station on the DLR. Didn't recognise it. That's how good I am. Don't ask me to do one of those GeoGuessr things for railways, because I think I'd get them all wrong. That would make me look like I don't know what I'm talking about. There's another interesting photo here of loads of power cars from HSTs in storage on the Severn Valley Railway. So you've got this really quaint countryside heritage railway station with 5 HST power cars, otherwise known as Class 43s, parked in the sidings, and it just looks really weird and out of place. But yeah, looks like they're being used for infrastructure monitoring trains. I actually, I don't know how many there are at the moment. Is it 4 or 5 maybe, infrastructure trains? I kind of like the idea of old power cars being used to have like one per route maybe, because then you can run more tests and keep the infrastructure up to a required level without having to use the same trains all the time. I think that's a pretty neat idea. GWR are also employing 387s now between Swindon and Cardiff. It's the first Electrostar to cross through the Severn Tunnel since it was electrified last year. Again, can't really complain about that. I think that's good news. I like the fact that we are keeping the old infrastructure but finding ways to modernise it. I think that's really, really good. The Flirt units being used for Transport for Wales have entered testing. They look very nice, by the way, in the TFW livery. I am a fan of that. And speaking of TFW, they have agreed to buy Pullman Rail, which I find an interesting story, actually, to read about. So, Caelestra Rail owned Pullman, and I believe this is the same Pullman that created Pullman. Actually, is it? Maybe it's not. No, maybe it's not. Just reading the article here, it might not be. Pullman Rail Limited is the company that is now owned by TFW, and it will continue to operate as a standalone business and deliver its existing services under its current name. So it's not changing name or anything. But I believe it is because Pullman shares its depot with TFW at Cardiff Canton, and I'm guessing it's a way to kind of streamline the process a little bit more and get everything under the same roof and under the same brand. Let me just put my phone on silent. There we go. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the rail news, to be honest. You can see the airport as well just taking shape here in the background. And that's pretty much it for this episode. I'm going to try and make it now so that I do not miss an upload for at least like 2 months. That's my target. So I'm going to try and bulk record episodes. And I say this every week, I know, and then I end up missing one for various reasons. But right now, because I'm still in like the embryonic stages of my job, we're kind of all like feeling out what it is we're supposed to be doing. For those who don't know, my title is social media producer, so all of video content bar 1 or 2 things here and there on the Racing Games channels, I'm the sole editor of. So that means my time is mostly taken up staring at Premiere and occasionally After Effects and having a meltdown on Photoshop. What that does mean is, as I said, my time is quite limited. So every now and then I'll have a video thrown at me that I've got to turn around within a day or two. And that means that takes priority as far as I'm concerned, because that's my job. This now, M4J, is more of a hobby again, but it's kind of like escapism. So I'm enjoying doing it still, don't get me wrong, but you can obviously understand my priorities might be elsewhere. So I'm going to try not to miss uploads moving forward. I know it's easier said than done, and I apologise in advance if I do miss any. I try to let you guys know in advance if that is going to be the case. Sometimes I forget. And there was one recently for Transport Fever where I asked if you guys wanted it as a premiere or a video. Completely forgot that I had that as a poll the day after it went live. I realised it was a poll. As it happens, only 2 people voted on it anyway, so I don't think I really missed out. But it was meant to be premiered and it wasn't, so I apologise for that. I will get back to premiering once a month again for each video, or for each series, sorry. So 1 M4J network, 1 rail route, 1 transport fever, maybe 1 football manager again. We'll see about that and how well that goes. But yeah, I'm going to wrap things up here, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and of course if you enjoyed the series so far. Drop those comments down below. Really does help out with interactivity, and also let me know ideas for future episodes. That really helps out with creativity. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button. If you have already subscribed to the channel, thank you guys for your continued support. Please do. Oh wow, excuse me. Please do join the Discord and get involved with the chat there as well. If you want to help out with the database, all that kind of thing, please do join the Discord. Make yourselves known. It really does help us out, and I think it's a really cool project. It might not be the most revolutionary thing in the world, but I think it's a cool community-driven project that I'm quite happy to be at the head of. So let me know about that as well. But yeah, thanks for watching once again, and until next time, I will see you soon.